girls. Good evening and welcome to our Cosmopolitan Philippines live chat. I'm Jillian Gacheco, your editor-in-chief at Cosmo, and today I have a treat for you because I am joined by actress and recording artist Gabi Garcia for some much-needed catching up during quarantine. Gabi, say hi to everyone.
Hi guys, how are you all? I hope everyone's safe and healthy in your own homes.
Thanks, Gabby. We're also going to be joined by Coach Sheila Tan, who's a licensed meta coach and NLP trainer. Sheila's involved in Flourish Circle, which is a community-based solution for mental health support. Sheila will be our meta coach for this session, and she'll help us navigate the challenging time that we're going through now during the pandemic, during the quarantine period. Hi, Sheila. Say hi to everyone first.
Hi, Jillian. Hi, Gabby. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. We have 194 people watching right now. Please send the link to your friends and spread the word that all three of us are online. Gabby and Coach Sheila will be with us for the next 45 minutes or so to share their points of view on different topics, specifically our experiences as women during this ECQ. If you have any questions, I'm going to open the floor to a Q&A later on. So I'm just going to kick off this discussion with questions that I came up with already. So to kick off this live stream, Gabby, how have you been feeling now that we're under ECQ?
Well, it's a bit of an adjustment also for me. It's really sad, what's happening. But the lockdown for me personally, I've adjusted so much because I don't really stay at home that much, especially when I work. I feel like it's more relaxing for me if I'm outside the house.
Okay.
So, for short, I'm not like a taong bahay. So, this is the longest I've stayed indoors. So, I've discovered a lot about myself actually, and I'm also with my family during the lockdown. So, it's more of really a quality time with them and also discovering more about yourself.
Okay. How about you, Coach Sheila? What have you been doing during this quarantine period?
I've been well. Some days are better than others. The ECQ happens to coincide with a life transition that I'm going through. So I just left my corporate job for 14 years and
Wow.
I finally resigned and the next day it was lockdown. So
Wow.
interesting twist of events for me. I've been trying to cope with the uncertainties and trying to be productive.
Okay, so coping with uncertainties and trying to be productive, that will really guide us in our discussion tonight. So we'll get back to that later. But Gabby, can you please walk us through a typical day for you right now? I know that all the shooting is suspended, right? So no shooting now, no work outside of home. So what have you been doing? Any new routines that you started?
So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sleeping early this ECQ. I've been sleeping at around like 2 or 3 a.m. and then I'm up by 11 or 10 o'clock. So it's kind of really, it's a weird body clock, but I'm trying to make the most out of my night sessions. Like I've been so productive at night.
What have you been doing at night that makes you so productive?
I don't know. I've been editing vlogs. Like lately I just shot and edited my own vlog. It's the first time for me to like edit my own vlog. And then my normal routine would be like waking up at 11, helping my mom, my sister prepare lunch for us because we don't have helpers at home. We don't have house help. So we do everything by ourselves. And then I would work out at around 4 or 5 p.m. That's like every other day. So I really try my best to work out as much as possible because, it's kind of a guilt trip just eating and eating this quarantine. So, you need to make sure that it's balanced.
Actually, earlier today, we were talking about Netflix and all the shows that we've been watching. So
Yeah.
maybe, Gabby, you can share also some of the shows that you've caught up on or like what you or maybe the last show that you watched.
Okay, the last series I watched La Casa de Papel or Money Heist, the latest season, it's season 4 already. I finished it overnight lang. And it's crazy because it's about an hour per episode, and I just really binge watched it. But that now I'm regretting because I should have like had an episode per day para mas mahaba for the whole lockdown.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Parang pagkatapos ng isang season and then you don't have any other season to watch. It's like, what will I do next?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Coach Sheila, what are some of the things that we need to keep in mind and prioritize now during ECQ? So we mentioned sleeping late and waking up late and just having a different, body clock. So what are the things that we should keep in mind?
So first is I would suggest that people take care of themselves, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. So it's great to be aware of how we're actually going through it. So we have things that we can do to prevent, like people could be experiencing depression or fears. It's good to be aware of that early on.
Okay, so when you're aware of the fears, is it necessary for us to face them immediately, or do we take our time to, like deal with them?
So first is it's important to be aware that there is that fear because there are people who are not even aware, and so they react in several different ways. So like they would have explosion of temper because they don't realize that there's that fear behind. So if they're aware, then it would be good to understand what am I afraid about,
Okay.
because the tendency is for people to not even know what they're afraid of, and so it seems insurmountable.
Yeah.
Gabby, did you say something?
Yeah, I have a question, Ms.
Right.
Sheila. So I read this article in Cosmo earlier that some people, including myself, have been crying like randomly during the lockdown. So
Yeah.
how do we process that?
Mhm. It will be different from every person because we're going through different things, right? Like some people are saying, oh, this is really great. I get to do the things that I've been wanting to do. And there
Yeah.
are people who feel like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep. I even read an article that said, if you're sleeping well during this quarantine period, then there's something wrong with you. So people have different takes on it. And I think what is universal is everyone experiences some level of grief, and people may not be aware of that. So people may be grieving for losing actual people, right, in their
Yeah.
lives. Some people are grieving loss of income. For some people it's the connection, physical connection with people, just
Mm-mm.
being around their support group. And so first is acceptance that there is what they call the collective grief,
Mhm.
and to understand how are we experiencing it so that we could better deal with it.
So part of the grief, I think, is not being in touch with family and friends, or not being with them physically, at least. So, how are you guys keeping in touch with your family and friends? Like maybe Gabby, you can share what apps have you been using to keep in touch with Khalil, or like you're I mean you're with your family, so it's
Yeah.
okay. But for your friends at work and your boyfriend, how do you stay in touch?
Well, we're all lucky that that we have technology nowadays. We can just video call a person, and there's this like one app I enjoy using. It's called House Party. So it's
Ooh,
a
okay.
video call with games. Like there's charades, there's guess the song and everything. So it really entertains me. And so far, at first I really had a hard time because I'm a people person, and my love language is being clingy, being affectionate to people. So
Yeah.
taking that away from me was really a bit of an adjustment. I just really keep in mind about the things that we can control and we cannot control, including this lockdown. I mean, we can't control, it's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So I just keep that in mind.
Very well said, Gabby. Coach Sheila, maybe you have tips also to make sure that we don't feel lonely or isolated. Like I have teammates who live alone, and I'm sure they feel this way. I have friends who live alone. So how do we deal with that so we don't feel isolated?
Mm. So, like Gabby said, make the effort, intentional effort to connect with people. And connecting is for us as well as for the people that we are connecting with. Like, I would connect with my friends who are now all over the world. We actually talk more now than
Yeah.
ever because there's that need that it's like an anchor for security that, okay, despite whatever's happening, there's something constant in my life. And so, yeah, I make an inventory of my friends. Like I have categories. So if I want to talk intellectual, I have these friends. If I want to just have fun, these are the people. And then the people I could have inuman with. So that has
Nice.
been helpful for me.
I love the
I
category.
Right.
know, yeah, but it's true, right? We all have like categories when it comes to our barcadas and social circles. So, to wrap up this topic, I just want to ask both of you, who will be the top three people you'll meet up with after this lockdown? Gabby first.
Okay, so of course, Khalil would be there.
Of
My
course, of course.
manager to sort my life out and my career out after this quarantine. And maybe who's the last one? Maybe my grandparents. Yeah, I
Okay.
really miss them.
How about you, Coach Sheila?
So the first one is probably my sister. She's stuck in Makati and we've been doing Viber every night. So I'll go see her. Next is probably one coachee of mine that I was supposed to meet the day before the lockdown. And I've organized like a group of friends already. Para hindi pa isa-isa. I meet with them as a group. My college friends. So we'll meet the soonest we can.
Okay. So thanks, guys. So that wraps up the first topic that we're talking about tonight. Let's check who's been viewing us. Maybe we can do a few shout outs. To those who are only joining us now, again, I'm Jillian Gacheco. I'm the editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan Philippines, and I'm with actress Gabby Garcia and meta coach Sheila Tan. We're discussing our points of view while under ECQ and how we're maintaining our well-being during this time. So please post your questions because later on we're also going to be answering these questions. So hello, Crystal Perez. Gabby and Sheila, maybe you can check the live link also and say hi. Hello, Jen Martinez. Oh my God, that's my sister. Hello.
Uh,
Hello to
Hi.
my team.
Oh, sorry.
Go, Gabby.
Hi, Catherine Manalo. She says, hi, Ate Gabi, love you. Hi. And hi to your sister.
Coach Sheila, baka may shout out ka dyan.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the comments guy. I'm not able to access it yet in a while.
Okay.
But hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please invite your friends and family who may benefit from our topic to join us tonight.
Yes. Okay, so before we go back to our discussion, please follow Cosmopolitan Philippines on Facebook. Just search for Cosmopolitan Philippines. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. And guess what? We're also on Viber. We have over 32,000 members on our Viber group. And that's where you'll see us, talk candidly. All the editors are there. And we just make chica about anything under the sun, or favorite K-drama opas, or like pop culture and the latest Cosmo news. So please follow us on Viber. We also have cute stickers. And some of our teammates will be plugging the links in the chat. So just click the links later on. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic, which is mental health. So, okay, I wanted to bring this up because I've been a victim of this also. So everywhere I look on social media, people are posting about how they're making the most of the quarantine period. So they're cooking, they're glowing up. I mean, seriously, they're applying makeup, doing skincare, they're cleaning up their homes, donating, and doing so many productive things. And as a result, there's that pressure on women in particular to also keep up. So what are your thoughts on this? Have you been seeing this also, Gabby?
Yeah. I've been really, I mean, all the TikToks, the super effort TikToks online, like they change spa and everything. Then sometimes, like for me, just to wake up early is such a hard thing to do. And at first, I was so sad about it. But then I realized, it's different. We have different ways of coping. And for me, I just take it one day at a time, don't be too hard on yourself. It's already a pandemic. Imagine, like, people are already having a hard time, and then you're gonna put pressure on yourself. But I don't think if anyone deserves that. So I feel like you just have to take one day at a time. And if social media gets it, you just detach from it first
Yeah.
and just focus on yourself first.
Okay. Coach Sheila, what are the things that we can keep in mind when we see these types of posts on social media? And what would be the best thing to do?
So first is people deal with the pandemic differently. So people who post those could be doing that as a defense mechanism as well, right? Or coping mechanism, I should say. And the important thing is for us to be mindful of how we're affected. So, for example, there are days when I feel good about myself and I see this, I'm like, wow, that's so inspiring. I want to learn to bake too. Once this pandemic is over, I'm going to learn because I don't have an oven here. When I have my oven, I'm gonna try that. And there are days when I feel bad about myself. It feels like, okay, guys, you're rubbing it, right? So it's good to be mindful of how we're being affected and to then deal with that differently as well. So if you're inspired, then go ahead and do that. If you want to join there are challenges, right, on FB. If you want to do that and it makes you feel like you're connected, then that's great. But if there are times when you feel that you're not as productive as other people, feel free to skip social media for the hour, for the day, or I've also unfollowed some people, confession, if
We
their
all
posts
have.
like really trigger me, right? So be mindful of how you're being impacted and then do something about that.
So, Coach Sheila, it's okay to not be okay, right?
Oh,
You,
definitely.
if you feel bad about something you're seeing on social media, it's okay to detach yourself from that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I hope it's not just during the pandemic. It's very important to be kind to ourselves. I always say with my coaches, the first thing that we need to do is to stop the fight inside. Because we're always fighting ourselves, right? And
Mhm.
I've seen people across ages, across social status, even across several positions that really beat themselves up. And it is very important during this time to really take notice of that.
I love it. Stop the fight and be kind to yourself. I love
Mhm.
it. So, speaking of being kind to yourself, Gabby, do you have some self care tips that you can share with our viewers tonight that may be good for our mental health?
So I just, as much as possible, I stick to my skincare routine because it makes me feel good. Like I'm happy whenever I'm doing it. So yeah, I do my morning and my night skincare routine. Kahit na wala naman ako pupuntahan in the morning, I still do it. Sometimes after my skincare, I apply cheek tint pa so that I'll be fresh all day. So yeah, and another part of my self-care tip is just really detaching yourself from toxic people, from toxic,
Yeah.
websites or like social media. Yeah. If it gets too much kasi I tend to overthink
Yes.
and we don't want that, right? So yeah, I just really detach myself. Like if I just really want to stay in my room the whole day, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Gabby. Coach Sheila, I have a question. So, if we have a friend going through a tough time during the ECQ, maybe she feels isolated or she's, going through a rough patch. What's the best way to support her?
So first is to make sure that we check on them every now and then. And if they feel, because sometimes they may not feel like sharing, they may not feel like talking. So
Yeah.
just knowing that we're there for them is already a big thing. And if there are times when they feel like talking about it, the best thing that we can do is to just be there, listen, and just allow them to express themselves. I was just listening to a podcast earlier on grief, and they say that the most important thing is that it is witnessed by people. So
Oh,
when people are going through something, they may not want help, right? But
yeah.
they want to
Yes.
be seen, they want to be heard. And
Yes.
sometimes the worst thing we can say is, just forget about it and be positive. So
Mm-mm.
instead
Yeah.
of that, it's like helping them just walk through it. Okay, how are you experiencing this? And what makes you feel that? And what do you
Yeah.
need right now?
Okay.
So,
So,
Coach Sheila, whatever we're feeling right now for the lockdown, like even if we're lucky, we're blessed that we have shelter, we have food, it's still okay not to be okay. Our feelings are valid. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct, Gabby. Our feelings are always valid. Now, what we want to take a look at is what are the kinds of thinking that causes that emotion? Because if I'm feeling like I lost something, no one can tell me to not feel that. And yet,
Yeah.
I can always check how am I thinking of this that may not be helpful for me. And once we
okay.
shift our thinking, the emotion also goes with it.
Okay. So it all boils down to the shift in mindset and thinking.
Right.
So, how important is it to have a semblance of normalcy during quarantine, Coach Sheila? Kasi it's hard di ba? With limited resources and us stuck at home, how can we have a routine in place that we can be comfortable with?
So I guess first it depends on how good your normal is.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people whose normals are actually toxic. And this would be a great way to restart things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so having a routine works for some people. It gives some people a sense of stability, that at least everything else is uncertain, but at least I'm certain with what I want to do with my life. There
Okay.
are other
Yeah.
people like me who don't have a routine. I've never had a routine. And during this pandemic, there are no similar 2 days.
Wow.
And that's okay as well.
Yeah.
So I cannot overemphasize the idea of being mindful. So there are days, for example, that I just want to chill and I allow myself to do that. And then there are days when I want to be connected to more people. And so I do that.
Yeah.
And then I also, so again, I have those categories. So I have the K drama list. Okay, even that is categorized. My friend has helped me categorize that. So if
I
you're
love
feeling, diba? So if you like drama, heavy drama, this is it. If you like parang romantic and comedy, these are the things to watch. And so I do that. And then there are days when I want to be productive. I enroll in e-courses. And
Oh.
then so it's like I just have a checklist. Do
Mm.
I have things for my social connection? Am I taking care of myself? So working out, eating well, and all of
Yeah.
those things.
So
yeah.
I noticed also, I just wanted to share, like, the thing, I'm a person who sticks to routines naman. I'm
Mm.
the complete opposite. Like, I need
I
to plan things. I need to
Ah,
list down everything from this time to this time of my day. So the downside of that is if I don't stick to it, if something comes up that's unexpected, for example, today, I wanted to wake up at 6:30 a.m. so I can work out and, like go through my day um, on a positive note. But I woke up at 8 o'clock. So I missed that portion that I was setting aside. So
yeah.
how can we deal with that kind of change,
mhm.
Coach Sheila? Like
So
in a healthy way, yeah.
I'm gonna get a bit technical here. So there's what we call thinking styles. And the thinking styles are what we place it on a continuum. So what you just explained, the way you are, that I have to stick to a schedule, we call that being procedural. So it has to be step one, step two, step three. And me naman, I'm on the other extreme, which is what we call optional. So there is
Mm.
no good or bad, and the idea is really to be flexible. And actually, this is a great time for us to check, are the ways of my thinking still helpful now? Because we could always expand that. So, for example, people who have to stick to routines that are now impossible to follow.
Yeah.
Now the question is, what do you need to let go of? So
Yeah.
what are your non-negotiables? And what are, okay, ito, maybe I'll allow myself to sleep a bit more. I'll allow myself to eat more calories or whatever. So it's good
Got
to
it.
give ourselves that permission. Permission to rest. Permission
Yes.
to let go.
Ah,
I love
this
it.
is therapy. I love it.
I love it.
Oh my
Okay, because
God.
I also have the same problem because I tend to be super like eager to be super giggle in all the things that I do. Like, for example, for the first few weeks of quarantine, I was so frustrated that I won't be able to work. I won't be able to go out. Because for me, that's my breather. Eh. We're going to work, going out. So parang I'm just so giggle in things. So that
Right.
helped me a lot. Thank you so much.
Right. And just to add to what Gabby said, no, so there are a lot of people who do that. Like, I need to do something. And sometimes people use that as an escape,
Mhm.
right? There are things I need to think about. There are things I need to reflect, but I'll work instead because I want to escape that feeling. And during this quarantine, we're actually forced. Forced might be too strong a word, but we have no choice but to deal with things. And I
Yeah.
actually think that is a good thing because now we can say, okay, how can I make this better for me?
Mm.
How can I experience life from a more empowered position rather than just distracting myself with work?
Yeah.
Love it. I love this section of our discussion. So
Yeah.
let's wrap this up and then we can do some shout outs. And to those who are only joining us now, again, this is Jillian Gacheco, Editor-in-Chief of Cosmopolitan Philippines, and I am with actress Gabi Garcia and meta coach Sheila Tan. We're discussing our points of view during the quarantine period and how we're maintaining our well-being during this time. So shout out to Aliza Marie, Iva Lorraine Tiburcio, Crystal Perez, Jackie May Maramot, and Faith Golosinda. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
everyone.
us.
Also, Hannah Reyes said this live stream is very helpful. Thank you for exerting effort in doing this. Thank you so much for
Oh my God.
appreciating it.
Thank you guys. We have 3,200 live viewers. This is amazing.
Wow.
Hi.
All the love.
All the love. Okay,
I
so
was super excited and looking forward because I know I needed it.
same.
Like deep inside, like I'm so excited to talk to Coach Sheila. Like I feel like I can talk to you right now.
Yes, thank you, Coach
Yes,
Sheila.
and we can continue later.
Yes, yes. To all the viewers right now, please send in your questions. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna have a live Q&A later, and we'll answer as many questions as we can. Before we go back to the chat, heads up, Cosmo Philippines is already on TikTok, so just look for Cosmopolitan PH. And if you're into beauty, we also have a growing beauty Instagram group, and that's cosmoph.beauty. Please follow the account. And my teammates, Andy and Lou, will be posting those links. So just follow those links and click those links later on. So our third topic for tonight is all about hygiene.
Okay.
So yeah, in the same way that we're taking care of mental health, we also have to take care of our physical health. So how have you been taking care of your physical health lately, Gabby? Aside from the frequent hand washing and taking vitamins and wearing masks, how have you been ensuring physical health?
um, never skip a day without showering. That's what I do. Like, even though I'm stuck in my house, I just never skip. And I also, of course, I use my Carefree, my
Mhm.
panty liner from Carefree. And of course, my daily routine and like using all my soap, my bath gel, my shampoos, I still do it up to now, even though I'm just here at home. So yeah, I feel like there's no reason for us to be lazy in showering because it's really part of our hygiene.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I find myself taking a bath like twice a day sometimes because it's
So
just so hot.
yes,
Exactly. And not all of us can, have the aircon on 24/7. And that's why you really need to take a bath more. So you mentioned hygiene. So, and wearing Carefree. So let's talk about periods and discharge, because this is Cosmo and we should be able to talk about these things because they're normal bodily functions. So, like I notice among my like friend groups, Pinays in particular are kind of jahe or shy to talk about these things. And it shouldn't be the case because it happens every month. We get our period every month. And
Normal.
it's normal, exactly. So how do we normalize this conversation, Coach Sheila? Like especially things that we're shy about or society frowns upon.
So first is just to say it. So it's very important to just talk about things and not be scared of being judged. And once one person starts it, it influences other people to start talking about it as well, right? And that essentially destigmatizes it. Because every time we keep something hidden, we keep something secret, it has more control over us. It's like we're afraid of something. And now when we say it out loud, it's like, okay, I did not get hurt. I'm okay. Nobody killed me. And, oy, okay pala. And now we can influence people to just talk about it and just keep that conversation.
Gabby, what's been your experience when it comes to these topics, like among your friends? Are you open about it, or is there like a shy factor?
You know what? Now I'm open about it. Okay, so I'm gonna share something.
Okay.
So I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have PCOS. So at first I was so shy in telling people. I was so shy that I was taking pills for me to have regular periods. But then now I realize it's just really part of who you are and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. And in fact, if I'm gonna speak of it, I can also help other girls.
Exactly.
In treating other girls who have PCOS or to have regular menstruation. So I found out because I had no period for about 5 months. And then, so I was curious on why I had irregular menstruation. So I went to my OB-GYN and then I had it checked. And yeah, I had like 12 plus small cysts.
Yeah.
My face, left and right. And I'm lucky because I haven't been growing facial hair. So the doctor's advice, my OB's advice was to take pills. Pills every month and then take a break for 7 days and then have your menstruation. So at first I was just really so shy that I would have to go to a pharmacy and get myself pills. Because what would people think about me? What would people say? Oh my gosh, I'm here in the ultrasound section of the hospital. What would people say? Maybe they're gonna say I'm pregnant. Maybe I had that. So people have that stigma that if you're in an OB-GYN, it means you're pregnant. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's
especially
now time.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe
I have the
now it's
total
time to stop thinking. Yeah.
I have the total opposite naman experience. I also have PCOS. So
Okay.
I didn't think that it was something to be sensitive about. So I was with a couple and I said, yeah, I just came from the hospital. And they're like, are you okay? Is something wrong? I'm like, no, I just checked with my OB and I found out I have PCOS. And then silence. And then I'm like, okay, should I have not said that? And then the girl started saying, oh, I had PCOS as well. And so we started that conversation. And then I'm like, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed kasi, for our Cosmo readers, they're big Googlers. So when something happens to their body, instead of consulting a doctor, they tend to Google it. So it's like, oh my God, what's this discharge? Or, like they self-medicate. And it's very important for us to make it normal to talk about these things so that people go to the right professionals to consult and to talk about what's happening to their body. So I couldn't overemphasize, the importance of having a conversation about it. Okay, so I have another question. So we know that it's super hot. It's the middle of summer nga. So how do you stay hygienic, Gabby? Aside from taking a shower and probably changing your panty liner frequently, what are the other things that you do to stay hygienic?
Yeah, I just really continue washing, and of course, I
Maybe
make
your
sure that
routine. Your
yeah.
routine. Share your routine.
So okay, I'm gonna start by waking up, and then toothbrush, of course, and then I check. I also check my skin if it's still good, if it's still okay. Then I take a bath in the morning, and then after that, of course, Carefree helps me a lot to feel comfortable. So even in the house, I still use my liners because it's breathable and you can't really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't bother me at all. So I feel like it's just really part of my daily routine. It's part of my hygiene kit. So I have like a
Okay.
hygiene kit which includes my liners, my brush, my
Yeah.
sanitizer. I have that. So it's just really part of my day-to-day routine.
Okay. So, I was just reading up earlier about the pros of wearing panty liners. And,
Yeah.
there's a hack pala. When you're wearing tight pants, especially like white pants. So this is like fashion advice, guys. One way to prevent a camel toe is by wearing a panty liner so that it's smooth down there.
Yeah, that makes so
So,
much
Yeah.
sense.
right? So
Yeah.
anyone's just like mind blown. Oh my gosh. Oh nga, no, it makes so much sense. Anyway, fashion tip, guys. Okay, so for the last question for this category, before we actually two more questions before we open up the floor to the readers' questions. I've experienced this. I used to be blonde, guys, by the way. I
Yeah.
recently, yeah, so my photo actually in the promotional materials, I'm blonde there. But I had my hair colored brown right before the quarantine period, and I'm so glad because can you just imagine the roots and dealing with it like during quarantine? I know it's mababaw, but it's like, it's part of your look. It's part of the physical aspect of yourself. So right now there are no dermas, no waxing appointments, no mani-pedis, and all the stuff that we can do pre-quarantine, we can't do anymore when it comes to our vanity. And
Yeah.
it can take a toll on how we value ourselves and our self-worth and self-esteem. So Coach Sheila, how can we deal with this? Like, I mean, I have some friends who can't have facials anymore. Tapos parang naiiyak na sila na, oh my God, may pimple ako. I can't have a pimple injection or whatever, Like, how, it
Going
really,
to the term is the first things I'm gonna do after
yeah,
quarantine.
yeah. So, like, how do we deal with this shift in our confidence also?
Right. So you mentioned two things, self-esteem and self-confidence. It's important for us to be able to differentiate those things. So people usually use them interchangeably, and I think that is to blame for many of society's issues. So self-esteem is about our worth and value as a person.
Okay.
So as a human being, what is my value? And therefore, I don't need to do anything to prove that. And if I didn't have a facial, I have a breakout, my hair is dry or whatever, that should not impact my value as a person, right? Because would you say, okay, you okay to kill that person because she has breakout? You won't say that naman, di ba? Self-confidence is about our ability to do tasks, our ability to perform certain roles. And if we're able to differentiate that, our worth is not going to be threatened. So say sometimes, okay, I don't feel so confident because my skin is not good, but my value as a person is not threatened. And that's very important because I can just go because I know that I'm still a valuable person.
Yeah. Very well said, Coach Sheila. Thank you. So if you find yourself comparing yourself to other people after the quarantine period, like, di ba, I mentioned earlier na, oh my gosh, people are glowing up, people are working out. What if you gained weight during the quarantine period? Tapos nagkita-kita kayong lahat at work and then, oh my gosh, you gained 10 pounds. You know, or
Yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah, and
So,
especially in my line of job, Coach
Right.
Sheila, like I can't really gain weight because I'm like 10 times bigger on screen. So, especially now during the lockdown, I'm having a hard time coping with myself. So I tend to eat more. So what should be my mindset about it?
So, if you can take care of the emotions that you feel, there's a tendency that the need to like binge eat also lessens. And it's okay to give yourself permission to do that every now and then. And when you give yourself permission, it doesn't go overboard. That's first. Second, it's not bad to compare ourselves with others if it has a positive impact on our life. So, for example, I would see friends who would post that they work out every day. And so I go, shucks, if they can do it, can I do that? And I say, no, every day is just too much. But at least I do every other day instead of before twice a week. So it's
Mm-hmm.
okay if it inspires us as long as, again, we don't beat ourselves up for it.
so Gabby, give yourself permission to eat those fries.
Yeah, I know. It's time to eat those chips. It's okay.
Yes,
Right.
it's okay. Okay, so last question before we open the floor to the viewers' questions. So what's the first thing you'll eat, do, and buy after the quarantine is over? Sige, Coach Sheila muna. First thing
Shucks.
you'll eat, do, and buy.
So eat. I've been dreaming about this. So I've been craving for really really spicy chicken. So I hope I could go to, because I'm not in Manila, because there are a lot of restaurants that deliver in Manila, diba? I don't have that luxury right now. So I'm really, really craving for that. Eat do. Do drink with friends. I miss drinking with friends. And buy. Huh. Probably lipstick because I'm almost out of it.
Okay, okay. How about you, Gabby? Eat, do, and buy.
Um, do and buy. For the eat part, I really love Yushoken ramen. Oh my god, I'm not like advertising it, but I just so love Yushoken and Tendokoro. Like I love the ramen. And it's just so hard to get good ramen nowadays. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go to Yushoken.
Okay.
Eat. What's the next one? Sorry, do.
Do.
I would go to my derma. I would go to Bella and have my
Yes.
treatment. My gosh. Need it. I super need it. Like before the lockdown, I would usually go to Bella every other week or like every week the most. So yeah. Buy would be, I feel like I wanna get new PJs. Cause na-realize ko na, shocks, I really need to stock up on PJs. I mean, this lockdown, na-feel ko, onti lang pala ng PJs ko. I need to get more. So yeah, PJs.
Loungewear pang bahay, ganyan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gabby and Coach Sheila. So now, please send in your questions, guys, and we'll try to answer most of them. Actually, we have a question already here from Ange Cheng. Hello, Ange. So she's asking, what hidden talent did you discover during the ECQ, Gabby?
Hidden talent. Well, yeah, I learned how to edit. So, at first, I didn't know that I had like a taste in editing pala. So, apparently, I
Nice.
do a bit. So,
What do you use to edit?
estimate what?
What do you use to edit?
What do I use to edit? Just iMovie for my vlogs, and then I
Okay.
add everything, all my cards, and then I sometimes I transfer it to my phone to InShot. There's an app called InShot,
Yeah,
and then you can add more content there.
nice. I noticed in your vlogs nga, you've been posting a lot of like nostalgic footage, like your Japan trip and stuff like that. Parang
Yeah.
nakakamiss kasi mag-travel.
Yeah, and I feel like it's gonna be a long time pa before we can travel again.
Coach Sheila, ikaw, may hidden talent ka bang na-discover during ECQ?
Well, I've started doing my own posters and I've done a lot of presentations. Before this ECQ, I'd call myself computer illiterate. So people would tell me, Uy, record yourself naman, do a video. And I would say, I'm not techie kasi. And now I'm forced to do it. And so now I'm really getting more acquainted with the online world.
Oh, nice.
That's
Okay.
nice.
Ako naman, I discovered I can cook pala.
Wow.
Yes, so I've been Googling a lot of recipes and checking out yummy.ph, which is also part of Summit Media. So, grabe, I've been like cooking sinigang and like tortang talong. It's amazing. I had no idea I could do it.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay,
Good for
okay.
you.
Thank you. Shout out, by the way, to Rod Anthony Panya, Aniel Rabaha, Rika Subion, and Angelina Del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us. I have another question for you, Gabby. What can we
Yeah.
expect from your next vlog?
For my next vlog, I'm planning to like vlog since we can't do anything, we can't do like activities, so it's a sit down vlog. I'm planning to make kwento my journey because a lot of people are asking about like how I entered show business. So I'm planning to share my humble beginnings. When I was a kid, I was a super bibo kid, so I would like to share all the throwback photos. So yeah.
Nice. Wait.
That's nice. We'll look out for that, Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh, eto, there's a question. From Gia de los Santos. Hi, Cosmo. Sometimes dysmenorrhea is making me lose focus at work, and I find it very hard to tell my colleagues about it. Help. So, how do we, okay, Coach Sheila, I think this one's for you. How do we help Gia? Because her dysmenorrhea has been getting in the way of
Mhm.
work. So how can she, I know it's a physical thing, but then how can she mentally take control?
So first is be aware of what the patterns are. Like when does it come? What do you experience? So for me, I know that like on the first 2 days that I have my period, I can't really be active. And so I schedule things around that. So that's first. At least make
Okay.
preventive measures ka na. And then I just tell people that, I'm not feeling well. I have dysmenorrhea today.
Mm-mm.
And
And you shouldn't be shy to say it.
right. And so sometimes I go to a meeting. The first thing I say is, guys, please be kind to me today because I have dysmenorrhea.
Okay.
And it works.
I will try that next time also.
Just make sure you do it once a month, not every day.
Lang eh, para
Excuse ka
mag-sick
lang.
leave. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have a question from Yela Meriales. Hello. What are cute activities to have with friends virtually? Gabby, maybe you can answer this.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay. So what I said earlier, download the House Party app. It's one of the best apps. Like you can actually play connect the song, you can play charades, you can play like Pictionary style. So it's really really fun activity and you can like they can cater 8 people on the app. So it's super
Is it a free app, Gabby?
sorry.
Is it a free app?
Yeah, it's a free app. It's a free app.
Okay. Sige, we'll try that. Maybe one of these days I'll play a game with my friends through that house party app.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
let's
really
sino pa ba ang nag-ask ng questions? Gabby and Coach Sheila, maybe you can help me sort through all the questions. Ang dami.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had a really fun time during our discussion today. Like, it was therapeutic, I swear.
Yes, thank you.
Same.
Thank you.
And and the feeling is like we're working but we're not working.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Parang, there are more shout outs than questions.
Yes.
Right.
So maybe, yeah, maybe Gabby, you can just mention some names before we wrap it up. Maybe say hi to your fans, saying, greeting you.
Yeah. Hello to Dondi Makitid. Hi. She's saying hi. And to Sky Garcia. Hello. And to all the Gabby fides who are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you guys picked up something during our discussion, especially with what Coach Sheila said earlier.
Jill, there's a question here for me, pero parang pang-OB yata yung question. It
Ano
says,
question to?
why is it that some period is more painful than in other months? So, I'm not an expert here, but I'll share my experience.
Okay.
In my experience, every time I'm physically and mentally stressed, it becomes more painful for me. And so when I realized that, I started like loosening up on my schedule on the week before I am expected to have my period. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Coach Sheila. Do you want to plug anything, Coach Sheila, before we wrap it up? Maybe you're working on something now that you want to share with our viewers.
Right. So please follow Flourish Circle. It's our FB page for our mental health advocacy. We're going to have a live show tomorrow at 5 p.m. It will be how to handle grief during this quarantine. We'll also take in live Q&A, so I hope you can join us.
Okay, thank you, Coach Sheila. How about you, Gabby? Do you have any like pahabol and maybe greetings or like plugs?
Um, well, I don't have. There's Encantadia every night, every weekdays. So I hope you guys get to watch the replay of Encantadia on GMA. And also the Ikay ng Lola Ko every weekend. And also we're live online for our show called All Out Sundays. That's every Sunday. And also I just really want to thank. So Kalil and I started a fundraiser about a few weeks ago, and we've done with our first wave. I just really want to thank everyone who donated for our fundraiser. It's called Pay It Forward. We helped Hospital ng Parañaque 1 and Pasay City General Hospital. So thank you guys for all your help.
Okay, so before I wrap it up, thanks, Coach Sheila, thanks, Gabby. If you're feeling inspired to share your stories and opinions on topics that we talked about tonight, like relationships or mental health or hygiene, Cosmopolitan Philippines has an ongoing campaign called My Point of V, and it's in partnership with Carefree and Modest. So all you have to do is go to the microsite link that we plugged in this Facebook post of the live stream, and then click it, and then there's like an interface that you can work with, and then you pick a topic that you're passionate about, let's say mental health, and then you share your point of view with other Cosmo girls. And 5 lucky Cosmo girls will get a chance to win a special video feature on Cosmopolitan and 5,000 pesos worth of Johnson & Johnson products. And please don't forget, guys, to follow Carefree Philippines on Facebook. That's Carefree PH. So we're going to be posting the link on all our social media accounts, so please click it. You can also find it on cosmo.ph. It's on the upper part of the website. So just click My Point of View.
That's
And
actually a campaign. Like people can actually share their opinions and their
yes.
perspectives on stuff, right?
Yes, because our goal is to normalize all these controversial social topics and,
Right.
to make it okay to talk about them.
Thank
And
you, Cosmopolitan and Carefree, for doing that. It's really,
yes,
really
Yeah.
important.
Also to Carefree also.
thank you. And that's a wrap. Coach Sheila and Gabby, oh my gosh, thanks so much. This was a pleasure talking to you and learning so much from your experiences. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us. Stay safe and alert during this time, and visit cosmo.ph daily for your dose of good vibes and info to get you through this ECQ. Hopefully it ends soon. And hopefully you'll be able to use Coach Sheila's advice to get through it, through this difficult time. Again, I'm Jillian Gatcheko, Cosmo Editor-in-Chief, signing off. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you guys. Get
Bye.
to flex your way during the
Flex your
quarantine.
way.
Carefree.